Man. It is. I see it. Okay. All right.
Go ahead, Nate. I want you to start.
Watch out, man.
That's not all
That was a
caps.
gut
Take it
check
easy.
early in the morning.
All right. I can't.
Where's my... I can't even...
I know which one you're... It's the same one you're looking for every question, every segment. The Cowboys. Go on.
All right.
Wear that for the show.
All right. So, yeah. It is the most undervalued individual. It has to be Dak Prescott. And, forget about the playoff appearances in the last couple of years. Forget about the fourth quarter comebacks. How about just a simple number of wins? Since he's been in the league in 2016, second most QB wins with 32. So with all this conversation about should they pay Dak Prescott, how much are they going to pay Dak Prescott? Is it in the 20s? Is it in the 30s? When you look at what he's been able to do versus the guys that are already getting paid big dollar signs, and I'll bring up their names because that's what we do, the Garoppolos, the Kirk Cousins, even Matt Stafford, my former quarterback, you have to look at Dak Prescott and say, one, thank you for your service, and two, here is the big bag of money. Go ahead and win us some more games and hopefully a Super Bowl.
Before I put this on, Jane, you know the Cowboys better than either of us. It's July 12th. Dak does not have a new deal. How's this thing going to end?
I think it gets done, but I think we're
When?
not going to start talking about it and real discussions until we get to training camp, was what I've been told by people in the
Do
building.
you think he shows up to Oxnard without a deal? You think it's
I do believe that. I believe we
do
get to
too.
Oxnard, but I think that it gets done by the time we leave there or mid-preseason. I mean, keep in mind, Zach Martin kind of had a similar situation.
Yeah.
But look, he's going to get paid. The market says he needs to get paid, and he's been playing for nothing.
I know.
And
Playing for
doing a
cheap.
lot the last 4
Incredible.
years. So
Yeah.
the Cowboys respect him. It gets done.
What hat you got?
You know, I went with the Rams and Brandon Cooks, and the reason why I went with that is first player in NFL history with 1,000-plus receiving yards with 3 different teams in 3 consecutive seasons.
Yeah.
Can we put some respect on his name?
Hey,
Wow.
I like
am.
it. You're at
Okay.
the right table.
Yeah.
Start talking about Brandon Cooks. We love Brandon Cooks here.
Yeah.
Awesome player. But I think you guys are both wrong because do you understand that if this guy was playing in the NBA, the money that he would make, if he was playing the MLB, he would make $200 million a season. It's Tom Brady. It's the quarterback of the Patriots.
Yeah, you're right.
I mean, Brady is the most undervalued athlete in history, but he still gets it done. And that's why our heads were spinning. We went on Kimmel and it's like, well, my wife makes a lot of money. That's right. That's how the system works. Brady has 6 Super Bowls. If it was baseball, he was Mike Trout, $250 million a year he could demand.
Easily.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's
you're
it,
right
Brady.
about that.
What else we got?
Well, now we're going to go with the huge news in the NBA last night. Russell Westbrook was traded to the Rockets to be reunited with his former
Look at
teammate,
where the
James
snap
Harden.
is on Kyle's hat.
I have a very large cranium.
Very large. So pick up the caps of the 2 former teammates who you want to see reunited for a run at a Super Bowl. I'm still focusing on the large cranium.
Yeah.
They said if you filled up Kyle's high school helmet with nickels, you have close to $1 million.
Wow.
You can do it with pennies, pesos. It doesn't matter.
Here we go.
All right, old teammates. All right, go ahead, Nate, go ahead.
Come on, Kyle. All right, so I'm going to go right here. I can't find the Kansas City hat. It's somewhere in there. But I want to go with, no, this isn't it. Where's my Rams hat at? You just had it, Jen.
All right, I'm going to
here
go.
we go, here we go.
I'm going to go. I'm just going to rip from the headlines right now, and we're talking about former teammates. I'm going to go former college teammates. Do you know who Melvin Gordon was college teammates with in college? Well, he was teammates with Russell Wilson.
What?
All right. He was also teammates with James White. Now, he's saying you got to trade me, or if I don't get a new deal, maybe somebody steps up and says, okay, we could use one of the best running backs in the entire game. Maybe it's Seattle, maybe it's New England, or maybe it's the Chargers. I'm just thinking on Wisconsin.
All right.
Take him seriously with that hat.
I got
It's the point of the segment.
I can't.
All right, I got my guy Marcus Peters, okay? At one point, he was actually a teammate of Pat Mahomes. It was the rookie season of Pat Mahomes, and Alex Smith was at quarterback. I would like to see Marcus Peters go back to his former squad, play with Pat Mahomes on the opposite side, but more importantly, he can be a duo with the Honey Badgers.
Oh.
How about that on the defensive side of the ball? So I'm going Peters back to KC. It ended poorly, but I think he can get back there at some point.
All right, well, Jacoby Brissett put out an intriguing physics question on Twitter. If the sun is hot, how is outer space cold? And I got to tell you, I'm a big science fan.
Yeah.
It kind of messed with my head a little.
Oh, yeah, big time.
He also started an interesting debate in animal science. Which part of the pigskin is actually a football? His former teammate Tom Brady took notice and replied, all right, do we need to start a podcast together? I would listen to this.
Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt.
100%. So I've got to ask you, which team is the player you desperately want to hear on a podcast?
Okay.
This podcast is going to be called the Drug Test Podcast.
Yeah, exactly.
Right there in studio.
I'm gonna go.
He passed again.
I'm gonna go Baker Mayfield. And with those philosophical questions, I think he was eating some baked goods. But I'm gonna go with Baker Mayfield because he doesn't hold any punches, and whatever is on his mind, he says. Even the situation with Duke Johnson recently, when he was like, it's all self-inflicted. It's his fault. If you don't want to be here, you don't have to be here. I felt a certain type of way about it. So did a few other OGs of the game. But one thing I do appreciate about Baker is that he'll say whatever he feels in the moment. So I'm going with Baker Mayfield's podcast.
Loved him with Colin Cowherd for the draft.
Oh, my
yeah.
Oh, it was amazing.
Good stuff.
All right, I agree with you. Now, I wanted both Baker, and I wanted two, if I had my druthers.
Okay, all
I
right.
wanted Baker, and I wanted Jalen Ramsey.
Oh, that's a good one.
And here's the reason why. I want one talking smack about opposing offenses, the other talking smack about opposing defenses.
Good.
These two would make an amazing
Trash talk.
podcast.
They would.
Yeah.
Yes.
They would. In my experience, Baker's like conversation about space and pork, too. So here we go. I'm going to go the Robcast. Jacoby's old teammate, Brady's teammate,
Robcast.
87. Rob Gronkowski's podcast. He brings on his old friends. He brings on his wrestlers. He brings on Glenn and Gordy and all his family. That's the one I want to listen to, Rob Gronkowski's podcast. He needs something to do, right? Robcast.
Got a
I
feeling
feel
it'll
like he's
sound
going
like
to steal that from you.
Wayne's
Yeah?
World.
He should.
Exactly. We're
You're
doing
welcome.
Jane's World today, though.
Yeah, oh yeah, you're right about that. All right, don't
about
you
you?
go anywhere. If you're wondering what it's like to juke all-pro linebacker Luke Kuechly, well, we got the 11-year-old that did it on the show, Key Anthony in the building. I got the keys. He's going to be joining us. All right, and next up, though, third overall pick.